and that has to be everybody's mentality, including the quarterback.
Coach, that fast start that you guys had at Tennessee, what really worked for that fast start? Like, what really went well for you guys?
Yeah, I would just say that we had great preparation going into the game, and we executed at a high level. Now, what goes into that? We could list all the things that go into that, but that's what we have to do again this week. And I think that's the challenge late in the season, is being able to consistently, week after week, execute at a high level in all three phases. And I'd love to tell you again that there's some magic formula that happens, but that's really what it comes down to when you're talking about, playoff football. And we have to be situationally aware in this game. We have to understand time, score, situation. I think it's important to make sure that our guys are continually locked in, even coming to a quote-unquote bowl site. It's not a bowl. This is a playoff game. This is a road game for us. There's no events. There's no anything other than getting ready to go play in this game, and that's got to be our focus, so that ultimately we all can execute the way we need to do our job.
And you have the tape on Oregon, but do you think that Oregon probably has stuff that you guys haven't seen, or do you feel like you've seen kind of what mostly is their identity?
I think when you're this late in the season, there's a combination of both. There's a lot of overage that you have throughout the season that you have ready for teams. You have ready for the first game that you played against somebody that you don't quite get to, but you practiced all year. Then there's also what you've been doing all season that you're counting on your guys to be able to go execute in a very stressful environment. Everything's on the table. So what the guys know well, they'll go back to the level of their training. But there's also going to be change-ups along the way, on both sides of the ball. And so, just like any time of the year, you got to adapt once you see something new.
Ryan, what's the biggest difference with Oregon, you think, from the first time you played and what you're seeing now on tape and going into this game?
I mean, I think first off, Gabriel's playing at a high level. He's now a full year into the system, and you can see there's a comfort level there. I feel like they've certainly found their identity in all three phases and have done a nice job of implementing that and adapting as the season's gone on. And then they've also been very good in special teams, faking punts, trying to find ways to steal possessions throughout the season. And so that's why I keep going back to the fact that we got to be on point in all those areas and understand how they're trying to attack us, because I think as the season's gone on, they've continued to do a good job of playing complementary football, also adding in the special teams part of it, and trying to challenge you in different ways and be creative about how they attack you.
What about you guys specifically? How have you guys changed since that first meeting?
I think every week our scheme in all three phases has been tweaked just a little bit to not only maximize our players' strengths, but also to not exactly do what we've shown on film and be predictable. I also think that the number of snaps that we've played this year has been down, and that was to make sure that this time of year we were fresh. And that came into the style of play, sometimes when we've played depth. And I feel like we do have a team right now that is fresh, that is ready to go play their best football at the end of the season. So I think all those things come into play when you're talking about scheme and you're talking about physical part of it.
I was going to ask you that. How different